Before the unexpected victory of Parasite as the Best Picture at the 92nd Academy Awards, Bong Joon-ho was almost unknown to the general public. After that incredible result, the film became a worldwide success and the popularity of the South Korean director increased explosively. This led many viewers to rediscover his previous works and to find many similarities between them and Parasite. Bong Joon-ho's style is distinctive and is characterized by a mixture of genres and a singular black humor. But in this video, we will not focus solely on the director's technical approach. We are interested in what he chooses to narrate in his movies, the lower classes and their life struggles. In the 19th century, social consciousness diffused among artists. The direct consequence was the genesis of a new art movement, social realism. Social realists described the awful living conditions of the working class without any idealization, to expose the contradictions of society and to denounce what created them. Even cinema was contaminated by this approach to art, and British directors were the first to use realism in movies as a means of social protest, taking inspiration from the literary works of Dickens and Hardy. A few decades later, neorealism led the renaissance of Italy and its cinema after the end of World War II and the fall of the fascist regime. In a country devastated by war, directors and screenwriters decided to film outside movie sets, in the wasted cities and countryside. By doing so, they narrated the conditions of the Italians, highlighting the drama hidden in their everyday life. During the same years, also Indian directors decided to join social realism. Among them, we can mention Satyajit Ray, who is considered one of the greatest directors of all time. Their work, as well as the one of neorealists, has been highly influential for the future of cinema. After the 60s, movies dealing with social themes have been produced by many directors around the world. Notable examples are the British Ken Loach, the Italian Elio Petri, and the American Spike Lee. And most importantly, the South Korean Bong Joon-ho.
Please keep rocking until you cannot hear this announcement. 현재 이 방송이 들리는 분들은 들리지 않을 때까지 대피하여 주시기 바랍니다.
야, 누워. 일단 누워 빨리. 왜?
Bong Joon-ho is one of the Korean directors that brought their national cinema to the international spotlight. He started his career in the early years of the 21st century, and he has always used the genre movies to narrate how common people, the poor and the useless, live in South Korea. As Western spectators, when we think about this country, we have the image of a highly advanced nation where technology drives the way to a better way of living. But watching Bong Joon-ho's movies is a way to understand the real organization of Korean society and its contradictions. The themes explored in his works take their inspiration either from the personal experience of the director or from pieces of news he comes in contact with. Then, he takes the topic to extremes to create a story that captures the spectator's attention. The social commentary that is a distinctive trait of all of his movies is a direct consequence of this approach. Bong Joon-ho himself said that he doesn't realize his movies to denounce something, but in the end, observing and representing reality brings in itself a deep critique of what is unjust and corrupted.
근데 뭐 제가 사회에 대한 발언을 하고 다니거나 또는 프로파간다 영화를 만들려고 영화를 찍진 않지만 영화를 다 찍고 보면은 하여튼 현재 시대에 대한 어느 정도 관련이 있는 영화를 현재 시대에 대한 어떤 코멘트를 하게 되는 건 사실인 것 같아요.
To create a captivating story, the Korean director writes his movies as genre films. He directed horror, crime, and sci-fi movies, but it will be underestimating to consider him solely a genre movie director. In fact, Bong Joon-ho's films are composed by a lot of different situations that continuously change the atmosphere of the story, filling the spectator with a multitude of sensations and impressions. Just watching a couple of the director's movies is enough to comprehend the way he directs, how he uses similar shots and screenplay to stage scenes that have similar values in the films. For example, he likes to include a scene which shows the narration of a story with horrific connotations that seems irrelevant in the plot development, but it becomes a turning point in the events. Another recurring element in his movies is represented by rain, that is used as a plot device that causes a sequence of unexpected events or makes the characters to change their course of action. But it also carries a metaphorical meaning. It shows how the lives of the protagonists, that are already hard and tragic, can become even worse, that for the poor there is no chance of ameliorating their conditions. Ultimately, it makes us feel that the characters are drowning under the weight of the events that poured upon them as water does from the sky. Considering all these recurring features, we can ironically say that Bong Joon-ho is directing the same movie over and over again, trying to reach stylistic perfection. What connects Bong Joon-ho's movies isn't just a specific way of directing. They are also deeply linked by a common theme: the lives of the lower classes. This subject is explored and analyzed by the Korean director, considering different moments, situations, and contexts. He describes how the commoners live, how they fight every day against their own condition, how they try to climb the social ladder. Through their eyes, we are shown the corruption of Korean society, the indifference of the powerful about the consequences of their actions, and the condition of the lower classes. Bong Joon-ho's view of society and poverty is disenchanted. There is no real possibility to improve one's condition, and the organization of society is immutable. Peaceful interaction between the rich and the needy is impossible. The only way to communicate is through violence that is either used to try and maintain order or to overturn it.
너 근데 서리가 무슨 뜻인지 알긴 아냐? 서리 진짜 모르냐? 세대차이 심각하구만. 아무튼 서리는 배고픈 자들의 특권이 되겠다 이 말이야.
To criticize the establishment, the director often makes fun of the police, that is portrayed as a corrupt institution whose members are inept at best, and it represents the power that tries to crush the miserable while it should protect them. This is not surprising, as Bong Joon-ho has witnessed repression and violence during his youth. All of Bong Joon-ho's movies have a metaphorical value. It shows the lives of a few individuals that represent all the people that live in the same condition. This feature is taken a step further in the last three movies of the director: Snowpiercer, Okja, and Parasite. Setting Snowpiercer in a sci-fi context allowed to physically represent the class struggle that the director sees in our society. At the same time, Parasite, despite his realistic mise-en-scene, is a depiction of the fights between the underdogs over the rich's table scraps. In the end, the only chance to live a peaceful life for the common people is to accept their condition and enjoy the small victories they achieve. Trying to reform the system, doesn't modify anything in the best possible scenario, and when a transformation occurs, it is impossible to determine if it is for the best. Bong Joon-ho's view of the world is the one of a worried father that fears for the future of his children. He wants to open the eyes of the audience. He understands that we must do something now to try and change things, otherwise they will only get worse. Despite this awareness, he is a realist and already doesn't see a way to improve this society that lacks compassion and love. This pessimism permeates all the Korean directors' movies, as their endings always leave the spectator a sense of aware melancholy. This feeling lingers in the minds of the audience, making all these movies memorable. The greatness and uniqueness of Bong Joon-ho's works is the main reason of his current worldwide popularity. However, the international prizes he won exponentially increased his fame among the general public. The Korean director is the proof that social cinema can be successful while showing the reality with brutal honesty. In this way, everybody, even the richest person, can understand how someone that has been less fortunate lives and what feels. What Bong Joon-ho hopes to achieve with his movies is to shake everybody's conscience. He hopes that we decide to come together to prevent anybody to be neglected, to prevent that anybody must struggle to have a decent life, or just to survive. And if you have already watched it, let us know in the comments what do you think about it. Did you like it? Have you suggestions for other movies to share? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Ciao a tutti.